So we're moving on to the next hack, which is Mario's Treasure Hunt 2, which, if that sounds familiar, and I'm kind of a little confused on this, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of story here, so we'll see what this says. Oh, look! Oh, no! The treasure has been stolen! I have to go to Toad to tell him about that. Maybe he knows more about it. If this sounds familiar, we just did Mario's Treasure Hunt, the first one, maybe one hack ago or so. One or two. I don't remember how many were in between that, but this is apparently, I don't know, the hack where I went on the whole, like, sellout thing. That's where it started. And here's the base. Oh, hey, wait, here's Toad. That, see if Toad's even in here to even, oh, hey, well, there's that. Hi, Mario, I am currently in my own base. I left because I was afraid of that ghost appeared here and then, okay. But Mario's Treasure Hunt, the first one, the original, was the one that I went on that little rampage about in regards to selling out. Which, is there even, no. There's another door here. Whoa, what is going on there? What the hell is this? What is going on in here? Oh, this is like a block tutorial, probably. Which I'm kind of skeptical on how a sequel was released so quickly. Because usually it takes a lot longer. So maybe he watched the coin counter. 1, that's 2, I'm guessing that's 3, that's 5, and that is like 10. Maybe he made both together and just wanted to release them at the same time. I don't know. Hack makers are funny like that sometimes, but either way, I really like the first one. Boing Boing, that has a secret, and this one is Sunset Fishing, so we'll check this one out first. But I really liked the first one. It's by the same guy, so we'll see. This green guy is Spinia. Jump on him once to stun him, and jump on him a second time to use him like a springboard. What fucking green guy? He's now gone, isn't he? He just fucking oh, what is that? That's the mushroom. There he is. He's back now. Look, springboard. Wow, that's the first time I've seen that, actually. Pretty damn good. But now I can get into more of the meat and bones, or the meat, not the bones so much, but the meats of why things sucked ass so much. And I went over it in like a broad sense that I was really unpopular and nothing really happened. I was never really invited to any parties or anything. I had not many friends, to say the least. I went through several different groups of people that I called friends at one point, but like I said, something always seemed to have happened that screwed up the relationship, either some girl or just something changing. I don't know. I don't remember. It's hard to say. You know, it could have been my fault. I'm not saying it wasn't my fault, but it could have been something on my end. It could have been something on their end. I don't really fucking remember, but you know, it really sucks having to go through... I just died. It really sucks having to go through that whole time period of not really having anybody to, are you kidding me? To talk to, in the sense that, I don't even know what these are for, but okay. In the sense of having a friend, because it gets fucking lonely. It sucks. I know a lot of other people out there can relate. There's something over here, isn't there? What is over here? Some sort of mushroom. This spring noise is really starting to get on my nerves here. Just a little bit. I could use the no spring in 2 seconds and I'd get another fucking spring. But okay. I'm sure some people can relate and some people can't. I'm sure some people's high school time was just fine, but in a fan base of a lot of people who like to watch someone play video games and talk to themselves, I'd imagine there are a couple of lonely people out there in regards to that. And if I jump up here, I get these coins, so that's great. But some people are like, oh yeah, I'm having a great time, you know, it sucks for you, or, you know, you fucking suck, blah, blah, blah. It's funny that you had such a terrible time. I really don't care anymore. It was, you know, 6 years ago, like I said, if not more, if you don't just count the senior year. But throughout the time length, I had 2 girlfriends, which is incredibly low for that time period. And they weren't even like, if they were long, like, you know, okay, you had 2 girlfriends, how long did the relationships last? One shouldn't even be counted because it lasted about 2 weeks. So usually I don't even count that one, but if we want to be like technical about it, it was 2. But if we want to be real about it, it was 1. So 1 lasted 2 weeks. Nothing really happened with that. Big dot levels always end with a mini-boss fight. Go collect power-ups to be ready for a fight. Okay, sure. So, that happened in freshman year, and then the second one happened. So freshman year would have been the first high school, and the first one would have been a different high school, the second one would have been a different one, so 1 at each one. The second one happened right after sophomore year, so the summer before junior year was when it started, and that only lasted about 3 months, so for the majority of the time, there wasn't much going on that front, and that in itself gets really shitty. It's not like there weren't interactions with other people, but as for girlfriends and stuff, it was incredibly lackluster. So that was also developed pretty slowly. My ability to... What is that? It's like a random fucking big goop. Okay, sure. You just keep throwing hammers there, guy. When you don't have much interaction with females because they don't like you for, you know, your personality, or because they don't think you're attractive, or because, you know, whatever. Like I said, my sense of style was non-existent, and I really didn't take care of myself much in regards to looks. I just let my hair grow out shaggy, just didn't really give a shit, so there's that. But when nothing really happens on that front, you develop really slowly, and I wouldn't say I was socially awkward, but I wouldn't say I was socially, I wouldn't say I was good at it, talking to other people, and it's just a fucking big Goomba. That's great. So I had, two different girlfriends, which is, you know, low, like I said, for the time period and time length, which sucked, like I said, you know, that fucking blew, but, it's not like there weren't other girls that liked me. At that point, there was a point where I just didn't like anybody. I didn't want to be bothered with. I was very bitter. And at this point, even now, you know, I've said it doesn't really matter to me now, but I'm still a little bitter towards some of those people who made things very difficult to me. I don't like to hold grudges, but it's something hard to kind of let go and forget about. You know, you made my life suck really badly for 4 years. Hi, how are you doing? I'm a little bit upset by that, so what is this? Here's treasure. I got a life, yes. So there's that. But it's not like there weren't girls who were interested in it. It wasn't a whole ton of them, but there were people who were interested, and I wasn't interested in them for either that being bitter thing and just hating everyone and being mad at the world, or I just, you know, legitimately wasn't interested in them. I'm sure there were girls that I was interested in that were interested in me, but I, for the most part, had very bad experiences with telling people these things, and I eventually learned to just give up, which is a terrible way to look at things, you know. If you're turned down for something, you shouldn't just give up entirely, but it's something you learn as time goes on. You know, I might reference things that sound very stupid or poor judgment or something like that, but at the time you have to remember that I was between the age of 13/14 and 18, and that is a time where you may or may not be making the best of judgments. You might be making very stupid judgments. You do stupid things. You say stupid things that you eventually will look back on and say, wow, that was really fucking stupid. I can't believe I thought that way. I can't believe I did that, etc., etc. So there's that. I want to go back to here and see what this is about. So I would say, you know, there was... What is this? You will start every level without coins. There are more than 100 coins in every level. Get 100 to get an extra life. Probably should have gone this way first. This red potion is a power potion. Take it to get more power to your defense and your spin jump. You can also hold an extra potion in the box. Thank you. Yeah, I probably should have gone here first because... Yeah, this is kind of like a tutorial thing, sort of. Hey, it's a shark with fucking punch... Ow, it hurts! That asshole, I thought it was like the dolphin, but I should have known it was a shark. That's also the shark. So, you know, things didn't... I think it's how things shaped up to not go my way, but now I would say I don't really have that problem at all. I'm not socially awkward. I don't have an issue with girls. I don't have, you know, issues with any of these things that had once plagued me back then, because I eventually, you know, went to work at Target, and as stupid as it might sound, this helped with, charisma type things, and being able to speak to people properly, and being able to think, and there's one of those assholes. So, yeah, it might sound weird, but this helped out. What also might sound weird is that I am very proud of what this has become. And even though every so often I get people who say, like, oh, this is nothing to be proud of, this is, you know, an embarrassment, etc., etc. Someone tweeted at me the other day that it was, I shouldn't be embarrassed about anything. I'd mentioned something, and someone had said, like, oh, you know, I didn't think you could get any more embarrassed than by living with a bunch of guys in the same house and making your living off of uploading videos to YouTube. It's like, okay, because, you know, no one else in the world has fucking roommates or lives with other guys in the same house. Hello, college dorms, how are you doing today? Oh, chock full of fucking dick, wow. I had no idea that a bunch of dudes stayed together anywhere else but this house in the world. So there's that. And also, there's the thing of making your living off of uploading videos to YouTube. I don't understand how some people go about this, you know. We'll take someone like RWJ or Toby or iJustine, and as much as some people want to say, you know, oh, I hate them, they're annoying attention whores, etc., etc., let's put that behind us. Let's not bring that up in this video about how much you hate someone, and then all the fanboys come out and say, oh, you know, you're just jealous, blah, blah. Let's put that behind us. I don't understand how someone can be, you know, I respect what Toby Turner does. You know, he does vlogs and stuff. He's a funny guy. He does, you know, pitching, whatever. And by pitching, I don't mean, you know, baseball pitching. I mean, he does stuff for, like, items, food. I've seen some of his stuff on, like, food, and he's done advertisements and stuff. I don't see where you can bridge the gap from his being respectable, but because I play video games, let me go back out here. But because I play video games, it's suddenly, you know, not respectable. What is this? What is going on down here? Hold on. What the fuck is going on down here? Okay. I got a fucking something. I got a key, apparently. Alright. It's funny how their logic works. You know, someone like Toby, or anyone else you want to use an example, can be just the best person ever, but then when you get to me, it's like, oh, he plays video games, you know? He's a fucking joke. I don't understand how that works. The same way when people were saying that I was getting fat in a vlog video, what does this say? Welcome to the first Switch area. In this short level, you have to collect the 8 lockets of the Switch colors. So I have to collect a bunch of... Oh, hey, look, it's a Donkey Kong thing. But people were saying, like, oh, you know, you're getting fat in your vlog. I am within the same weight range as I was in Chicago. And by that, I mean I had a specific sort of range that I would fluctuate between. And that was normally like 150 to 160 or so. 160 was a... you can't jump on those. 160 was a high end, and currently I'm about 163, so I don't know how within like a 5-pound weight radius you can turn from being twig skinny. I'm getting hit. Oh, no, I'm not. You can change from being twig skinny to fat. It's like, how does one cross this line? Where is this line at? It's such a thin line, apparently, that when you gain 5 pounds, you go from being twig skinny to fat, and when you're on YouTube, being, you know, a vlogger to me, someone who does video game stuff, is just, it's not respectable. I don't understand, but it's a lot deeper than some people think. I don't even know how many fucking... I have 7. I think there's 8, right? I do believe there are 8. This is gonna suck finding this other one. I don't know where it's at. And it's got music that I don't like. I don't like this music. It's from that one game that I hate, the Mario game. But I digress. I probably need the springboard for that, don't I? Son of a bitch. But it's a little deeper than people think. At the end of the day, I still have over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I still have close to 300. I'm not even going to be able to get that, or am I? Son of a... Oh, what's in this... Is this a reset? It probably is. I guess I'll do it again if I have to. Yep, it's a reset. But at the end of the day, I still have, 500,000 subs, and I still have close to... God, please stop with the lag bullshit. Thank you. I still have close to 300 million views at this time, which an advertiser is going to look at it and go, okay, I don't care. He plays video games. Oh, that's cool. Guess who also plays video games? People who are ages, 14 to 32, expendable income, very influenced, whatever the correct term is, stuff like that. Oh, that's great. So at the end of the day, it's still roughly the same thing. I know people have seen leaked contracts and know someone that knows information, and that hurt apparently. Okay, some people know roughly what I make, and I mean, I can't, that was stupid. I can't come out and say it based on contracts and stuff and whatever, blah blah blah. So, but some people know. There are fucking videos dedicated to that information. Let me go up here and get that. That's number 7. Still missing 8 somewhere, unless there are only 7. But it's been leaked out. Some people know, so it's whatever. But it goes deeper than just doing that. It's something I like. It's something that I get paid X amount of money to do, which I don't understand where you can, make better than that. Is that it was there? All right, I knew it. I do something I like to do. I get to interact with, for the most part, people that I like, people who are like me or like what I do or like me. So at the end of the day, it's still something I love to do, and I don't think I would trade it for anything else. So there's that. I just don't understand. That was like a side rant. I don't understand how the line gets crossed so quickly. It's funny to me, but whatever. If I'm pretty proud of what this has become. It's something that I did pretty much by myself. I did stuff with other people, but I didn't have someone else helping me along the way. This is something that I built up from scratch and eventually made a success. I could be the worst fucking person on the planet, and just because I do stuff with James or Jordan or whoever, the Calm Lake, isn't gonna make me a huge YouTuber. I got fairly far by myself. I think I was up to like 90,000 or so before I had done anything with other people. So it's definitely something there. I'm seen as sort of like one of the bigger people on YouTube, even as a whole, not just in the video game sector. And yes, I do know that people are higher than me, but like I say, that doesn't exactly scar an accomplishment. Just because someone is a bit better than you or far better than you doesn't make your accomplishments any less. If you think like that, then there's no point in doing anything, because at the end of the day, someone is probably going to be better than you, so why even bother? And I'm taking a hit because I'm going to get hit one way or another. So, I mean, there's that. If I had met anyone, I don't like to sort of mask what I do. Like, if I'm meeting someone who's older, someone in their 30s or 40s, or just presents themselves as more of a professional, then I'll try and dress up what I do a little bit. But for the most part, when someone's like, oh, what do you do? Well, I upload videos on YouTube. Oh, okay. The response you get from that is very funny sometimes, but they don't know the whole picture. And if they are told the whole picture, the tune definitely changes a little bit. And do I just get... Okay, good. So it's always funny to bring that up, but back to high school stuff. I'm gonna get hit again. Back to that stuff. The just couple girlfriends. Everything was kind of stunted. Wasn't very popular. Just trying to go over different things. I'm gonna get fucking hit again by that stupid sleeping jackass over there. This is like Yoshi music. I don't remember the name of the game, but whatever. But other than that, eventually at one point there was a group of people that really disliked me for no real reason. The story behind this is one that is completely and utterly stupid. During one of the times that I was with a group of people, which, really, that ended pretty suddenly for one reason or another. I don't even remember why. It's just like things fell apart, stopped talking, whatever. Wow. That's just the music. Okay. It could have been lag too. I have no idea. But during one of the little groups that I was with over the course of however long, I jumped between so many different groups. It was unreal. What is going on? This froze, didn't it? I think this froze. Yes, it... Okay! How about I fast forward? Yeah, it froze. That's weird. Why is it like that? Can I get out of this? You're going to see a mouse cursor. Okay, well, it looks like I'm going to have to do something with this. I'll be back in a second again because I have to fucking stop this again. Hip hip hooray. Alright, so it seems like every 20 minutes or so I have to end up stopping the recording because Camtasia or something screws up, but whatever. Cave of Cacti is the next one. But during one of the many different groups I had been in contact with and had kind of befriended... Do these hurt? Yes, they do hurt. Alright, just wanted to know. We were at a Taco Bell once, and like I had said, I didn't have a job, and my parents didn't really give me much money to work with, so went to Taco Bell one night. I didn't get anything because I, of course, had no money. Almost made that. I had no money, so I didn't get anything, just kind of sat there, and being the nice people they were, they didn't give me any of their food. That's sarcasm, if you don't know, so there's that, but I didn't have anything. Didn't eat anything, didn't buy anything, didn't have anything. Turns out that, I fucking jumped into that. Yeah, there's the end of the story. I jumped into that. Turns out that they were pretty messy individuals. They kind of left a mess everywhere and didn't want to clean it up. And it wasn't my mess. I'm not going to clean their mess up. But someone who worked there showed up eventually, and he was with a bunch of different people. I didn't know who these people were. They apparently, as I found out later, had gone to the same high school as us, but they were at least a year or two ahead. So I believe this was still sophomore year at this point. This was like pretty early on in the sophomore year too. So maybe around November-ish, I would want to say, sophomore year. But someone who worked there, who went to our school, came in and didn't really appreciate the mess that my friends had made. And instead of, you know, saying, you know, hey, who fucking made this mess? Could you guys clean it up? He singles me out because, like I said, I'm 5'7", 130 at this point, smaller than most people are going to be, especially from 1 or 2 years ahead of me. Singles me out, tells me to clean up the mess, and I am not going to clean up the mess because it's not my mess. I didn't buy anything, I didn't eat anything, and I'm not going to do what he tells me to do just because. So I say no. He blocks the door. I end up pushing his arm out of the way so I can leave. And turns out he didn't appreciate that. Oh, the sun. Wow, that's like a buck to the sun. He didn't appreciate that, and what happened next was that out of the group of people the person came in with, one of them had followed me out and had taken a swing at me while I was walking away. So granted, I never saw it coming, and I ended up getting hit. Someone called the cops because someone in the parking lot had witnessed it, and the cops came, and the cops had to call an ambulance because my ear was bleeding, so they thought that there might be some sort of head injury, which it turns out was incorrect. The person who hit me ended up having something in their hand at the time, whether it was brass knuckles or something, I don't know, and it split my ear open, so that was a fun experience. Now, ends up that the person who hit me had found out who I was. I don't know from who, but they found out who I was and proceeded to make my life a pretty shitty time. That was when things had really gone downhill, and that wasn't even very long after I had gotten to that high school. Like I said, November, high school, the school year started roughly in late August. I almost said June, which would have been way off, but late August. So I made it to November without having any real problems, but they found out who I was, I found out who they were, and they did not make things easy for me because I ended up being the person who was punched out in one hit. Granted, I was hit from behind, I was a very small individual, and this person was at least a year older than me and was probably about 6 foot, 230 pounds, so they had some firepower on them. Way more than my little 5'7", 130-pound ass could come up with, so that was very fun. I don't really talk about that much because it's kind of a sucky time, and it's like, oh, you know, he got hit out in one hit. I'm not a very violent physical person, for good reason, too, and I just died. For good reason, too. You know, I don't have the ability to do so. Oh, shit. Look at this guy. Oh, this is gonna kind of blow. Fucking son. You're an asshole. So, there's that. You know, 5'7", 130 pounds versus that guy. I had no fighting experience. It sucked. And after that was roughly when things had gone poorly with that group of people. You know, no one wants to be associated with whatever that just happened with me. So that ended that. It went very crappy. in the halls, I would be told, you know, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. It'd just be, like, bringing that stuff up. That's actually, funnily enough, it helped me out later on because there was a phrase that I would use every so often that I still use called the one-hitter quitter, and that was what one of the people in the group would call me. I was the one-hitter quitter for going down after one punch, which it's just kind of like a funny nod to high school for me. A terrible one, but still funny nonetheless that I can actually take that, what someone had said to me, and use it for sort of humorous purposes on my own behalf. So there's that. But even that is not finished. I don't remember if it was that same year. It had to have been that same year. There's no way it was a different year. But that same year, another event had happened where some of the kids that were near me, these were the stoner kids by this time, had come to my house, and I talked to them occasionally in school, and things were all right. But they came to my house one night. I had one of my friends from middle school over, which I can actually go into middle school a little bit now. Middle school was pretty good for the most part, but long story short, after middle school ended, we all went to different high schools, and like I said, I went to one that was kind of eh. I didn't want to go to a Catholic school. There were a lot of Catholic schools near me. I came from a Catholic grade school from 6th to 8th grade, but I didn't really want to go to a Catholic high school. They did, I didn't. They ended up, ironically, getting into drugs and stuff, which I really didn't want to be a part of. And things kind of separated from there. So there's the long story short mode of that, and I need a springboard. But I had one of them over, and these guys came along, and they're like, oh, yeah, want to go out, you know, ride bikes, whatever, etc., etc. I was like, yeah, sure, you know. I didn't think anything of it. What we actually ended up doing, we ended up going into a neighborhood that was adjacent to mine. It was the same neighborhood as the high school, so I was like, you know, whatever, I didn't think anything of it. And we went, turns out they were friends or knew some of the people at this one house. We rode up, I kind of stopped the bike, and some of them had known the group that had kind of attacked me the one night. They were part of that same group, and from behind, once again, I was punched in the eye this time. The first time was, like I said, the ear. It looked like they were going for a temple shot, which could have fucking killed me, which whatever. If you have brass knuckles on and you punch someone going for a temple shot, then you are very likely to fucking kill them or cause some very, very irreparable damage. Thankfully, nothing really happened. My ear just had to heal, but this time, someone even bigger had gotten me from behind, and that was just fucking outstanding. They actually hit me in the eye. So at least the other time, there wasn't really any noticeable marks. My ear was cut. That can happen anyway. You know, someone in high school is not really going to fucking say anything. Even though it had gotten out. You know, they had gone through the halls broadcasting that they had gotten me for whatever reason. I don't understand why, because it's not like I was a really good trophy kill. 5'7", unpopular, 130 pounds. Not really anything to brag about, really, at this point, but this time, someone who was probably, someone who was probably about 6'3", I would say probably as tall as Jordan, but has maybe 75 pounds of muscle on Jordan. So someone who's probably like 240, 6'3", muscular. I don't remember if he played any sports. Might have been on the football team. Oh god, stompy thing. Alright. This time, he got me in my eye, and my eye was pretty damn black and blue, and when you go to high school with a black eye, someone is going to think you got your shit kicked in, and for me, it was another one-hitter quitter. I got hit from behind again by someone even bigger this time, on a bike, so my balance was less than stellar. So my eye was pretty bruised up, and that ended up not being very good either, because I'm going to get hit again, aren't I? I just wanted to try and get it, and I ended up getting it. So there was that. That kind of refueled everything again. Though that was the only year I was ever attacked. You know, I was threatened beforehand. I know that... Who the fuck is this guy? Okay. Oh, I can pick these up. Great. God damn it. I know that my parents had wanted to go to the police and file charges this time, because last time nothing was done. And I knew, you know, at that point, it's even more social suicide. It was already bad enough, but they had gone and done it, and we had to go to this little intervention type of thing at the courthouse of the neighborhood, the town. And the story that was brought up by the other person was that I was talking a bunch of shit, and I think I took the first swing, and he punched back in self-defense. Granted, I just explained, Mario, I have lost my hat. Okay, great. I just explained that this person was at least 6'2" and at least 225. Do you honestly think someone who is my size, 5'7", 130 pounds, is going to be swinging on this person that could fucking... What was that? Is that a P-switch? What are you? I guess you're just something to stand on. It was like the worst story you could think of that this person tried to, like, make up to say that I had started it. And I was just like, I fucking cannot believe that this guy who is just towering over me said that you would have to be a complete fucking moron to be my size and go after this guy head on. And it was just, you know, there was no way I could win. That was pretty much, that sealed the deal for the remaining 3 years that I was going to be an unpopular mess that no one really ever cared about. I kind of spent most of my time at home and just played games and stuff and just wished for something better that never came until now-ish, like, recently. So, it's not the hardest life ever. I mean, I could definitely be in some poor, impoverished country and you know, just dying of whatever, so... But people still have their issues, regardless of being compared to the worst thing ever, being tortured for days and days. I wasn't tortured, I just had a very shitty time growing up. In middle school, for the most part, I was fat, and I'm sure a lot of people can... Wow. I guess, was this your hat here? There you go. Sure. I'm sure a lot of people who are overweight can kind of sympathize with that and say, you know, oh yeah, I get picked on, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, there are a lot of overweight people that are probably really popular. It just depends on, I guess, who you talk to and what your personality is, etc., etc., but shit really sucked. Wow, what was that? Oh, it's one of these assholes. Shit really sucked for quite a while. You can just imagine that how that was set up was how the rest of my time went. I was never attacked again after that, so, you know, luckily for that, I didn't have to go through anything like that again. But for the most part, for the next couple of years, I was ignored, and no one really cared about me, and just some sort of soppy, lame story of trying to just get through high school and get done with it so you can move on with your life and do something worthwhile where people will appreciate you, etc., etc. So there's other stuff that happened, but for the most part, it was, you know, just nothing happening. Nothing would really happen. I was never really invited to any place. What does this do? That must open up some wall somewhere. I don't remember seeing that, though. I was never really invited anywhere. People would just say shit that wasn't really nice. Is this where I was supposed to go? Apparently. You know, stuff that wasn't really nice. So, just typical shit after that. At one point, they were voting for, like, prom king and prom queen, and someone had jokingly said, oh yeah, let's vote for Seamus, and someone said, no, don't waste your fucking vote on him. Vote for someone that's actually gonna matter. So, you know, you remember stuff like that. Stuff that kind of digs in and shows you just how unimportant you are to other people. And at this point, I can look back on it and say, yeah, I'm really fucking unimportant now, or unimportant, you know. Try and say that now. It's definitely... I'm sure they've done growing up. I've done some sort of blooming type thing that I've talked about. You know, I have a pretty large, successful channel on YouTube. Some people know my financial standing. You obviously know that it's much better than what happened or what I was getting at Target. Do I really just have to... Can I spin jump this? Oh, I can. Alright. Whoa! It only takes one hit? Alright, sure. You know, you obviously know it's better than Target, and I've talked about Target plenty and plenty of times and how that was and, like, what the pay was there. So, you know, obviously I'm doing all right for myself. Some people know the specifics, some don't. People can ballpark it. Some people are way off. You know, some people have said, oh, he makes, like, $3 million a year. I looked it up on this site. I can tell you for a fact that right now, maybe one day, if I'm very lucky, but as of right now, I do not make $3 million a year. I wish I did, but I don't, unfortunately, because I would be blowing money, $3 million a year. Who cares at that point? You have fucking that much money coming in a year. I wish. And these are just like stupid, wow, coins, great. I wish, but you know, I do pretty well for myself. The YouTube channel is fairly popular, and it has quite a few views. Seems like every 20 minutes I have to fucking stop this and start it up again. I don't know what the hell the point or the problem is, but you know, that unpopularity and that no one liking me changed quite drastically over time. I was able to kind of set myself and figure out who I was, and figured out that for the most part people do like who I am, that I'm not some sort of hideous looking cave troll creature when girls start saying, you know, oh, you're so cute, blah, blah, blah. So it's definitely a confidence booster for someone who had never gotten that before. And at this point, it's kind of like, I'm not trying to brag or, yep, every 20 minutes. It's been 16 minutes since I last started it. It's going to be 20 minutes. Camtasia / this emulator is not doing too keen on more than 20 minutes, but I'm not trying to brag or say, you know, I'm the best thing that ever fucking happened to anyone, but it's definitely good knowing that people like you and knowing that you aren't some sort of hideous cave troll after what seems like 4 years or more of it feeling like that. And that's pretty much high school in a nutshell. A very long, like 40-minute or more nutshell. There was other stuff that happened. I can't really remember anything now. By the end of senior year, I was very, like, passive. There's the end. I was very passive, even though a lot of this group of people had hated me for so long. I tried to be nice to them when I could. And by the end of the senior year, they seemingly had backed off quite a bit, but by then it was too little, too late. You know, nothing had ever really happened to me that was good during that time, and this is probably going to be the last level, because otherwise I'm going to have to stop and restart. Yep, see? You can probably see that. It's getting all lag-tastic again. Well, that's awesome. It's probably, I don't even know what the fucking problem is, but I just know that it's starting to annoy me, so I might as well just stop like every 15 minutes and start it back up again. Wow, this is getting pretty bad. But that, for the most part, is what happened. That is kind of what I've been dragging along. So it might be as bad as some people thought. What is with this, like, stupid cage thing? It might be as bad as people thought. It might be, you know, roughly what people thought. It might be better than what people thought. I'm sure some people can relate to what I'm going through, but it gets better as long as you eventually make, like, an effort for it to get better. Oh, I'm just supposed to go low. As long as you know, don't let it get to you too much and just kind of move on and just work on other stuff in life other than that. It's just getting out that's the problem. It just sucks. Is he gonna fall? He is gonna fall. So, you know, it took, I really need, there we go. It just took getting out of high school for things to get better, which really sucked. You know, no one wants to wait 4 years or more for things to get better, but that's kind of what I had to do. And look at that lag. Look at that beautiful fucking, it's not gonna stop, is it? Oh, hurry up, I have to get this done. Yeah, listen to that. Oh, there's a boss? Are you... So I do... Fuck you, Camtasia. You suck. I'll be right back then. Alright, so we are back to end this and hope that... Okay, everything's good again. Outstanding. But, that's probably about it. There might be other stuff that I can't remember, but... as for now, it's not in my mind. I can't really remember. This fence thing is kind of annoying. These bombs are even more annoying. Can I just, like, do this? Ugh! Don't hit that. Let it blow up on you. Ugh! Yay! He got hit once. Oh, sweet. That worked out rather well. Hopefully he just doesn't get rid of it and gets hit by it. Oh, yeah, there you go. Good job. So, you know, things ended up getting better, as you can see. Unfortunately, it took so long, and even looking back on it, it just kind of annoys and saddens me of how shitty of a time it really was. At least things got better. That's about all I can say, but that'll mop that up for now. When we come back next time, I don't know what we're going to talk about. It might just be your standard bullshit one, but Toxic Race will be the next level. As for the next thing that gets talked about, I don't know. Maybe I'll hit back up on the subject off of people's comments. Maybe I'll go back to the sellout thing. Maybe I'll just ramble on about whatever I usually do. But thank you for watching, and I hope if you're having a shitty time, you end up doing something better, or things get better, etc., because no one wants to sit around for 4 years or more feeling sad, so hopefully things work out.